Hey, this is part two. I decided to continue doing this. My voice is gone right now. Um, welcome to Watchmen Waiting on the Lord. I had to continue this because I wanted to read Isaiah 53 because Isaiah 53 is really amazing. Open up your eyes. So I read I read Isaiah. Oh well, my voice is gone. I read Psalm 22, and so I'm going to read Isaiah 53. I would look over them both to see just how revealing that is. You know, in Revelations where it talks about the blood of the saints? The blood of the saints, I know I cut myself shaving. I just did that. The blood of the saints, when you look at the history of the Catholic Church, when you look at the Vatican, just think to yourself. And it's hard. It was hard for me going through this journey, okay? Because there was so many denominations and you know, though it's just hard to think how many denominations there are, who believes what, but when I looked at that, when I started looking at the Catholic Church, and I read how many people were killed by their system, they were murdered, they were burned at the stake, they were hung, they were tortured. We're talking 50 million people. So when you talk about World War II, Hitler and his Reich, at the end, killed 50, it says 50 to 100 million people because they don't truly know. So let's just say it's around the same. 50 million people is a lot of dead people. How could you not imagine that many people would be the blood of the saints? Because there were a lot of good people who died because they decided to oppose them. You know, they talk about heresy, and can you imagine what would have happened? During the 1,000 years that they wouldn't let people read a Bible. But can you imagine, you know, after Wycliffe and Martin Luther, which was 100 years after him, that they were hunting these people down. That's what they did, to kill them, to blot them out so they wouldn't speak the truth of the Bible. You know, one thing that I pray and hope for more than anything else, and you know, any Bible believer would want the same, is to ask God just to reveal the truth. No matter what it is, you have to accept what the truth is. And the journey that I took was, you know, reading the Bible, finding out all different truths. But when I started looking at the Catholic system, because, you know, there are all sorts of systems, but the Catholic is 1.345 billion people. That's the biggest religious system in the world. And they're pagan. Go figure. So I'm going to read Isaiah 53 here. Excuse me. Oh, and what I said in the other is transubstantiation. I couldn't think of the word correctly. That's where the Catholics say the conversion of the substance of the Eucharist. So they when they do their, you know, their ritual, they say that you know, the bread and the wine is literally turning into the body and blood of Jesus Christ. That is so blasphemous. I can't even begin to. And they do that tens of thousands of times per day, if not more, all over the world. I just can't accept stuff like that. And when you go over the whole list, of stuff that they do that were made up by them, then it's pretty sickening. A lot of it started when around Constantine. So, too bad my voice is like this. Isaiah 53. So who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. And yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. Remember, this is 600 years before Jesus Christ came. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray, and we have turned every one to his own way. And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all on the cross. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, as a sheep before shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked, right side and left side, right on the cross, the thieves, and with the rich and his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied by his knowledge. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. It's tough to talk, man. It's very tough to be social. It's tough to do anything when it's like this. For he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his own soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. So that's pretty telling. I mean, like, that chapter right there, Isaiah 53, pretty much tells the story of Jesus, what he did for us and what he did for us on the cross, and how we benefited after. Pretty crazy. So I get frustrated because it's very difficult to speak, and it's difficult on video. It's difficult with social, everything. Thanks for watching this video.